Alright, beta test. Alright, what is the beta test number? I lost count on the beta test number. Okay. Alright, we're gonna test today MK11 Killer Instinct GTX drive on a Dell G5 2018. It's a GTX with a 1060 Max Q VR GPU, hexacore i7. Alright, so let's put this in perspective. Let's see what the basic operating system is. So what we've got over here is just a basic operating system. What we've got in advanced Windows R, I think it's an R3, Windows 10 R3. And if y'all don't know about this, then well, it's about time you'll start learning about all these different distros. Windows has a various amount of distros, but an R3 is basically something that you customize without any of the backdoor loopholes that actually boot speed and actually give you lag switching and so forth. So that's a lot to take in, but it is what it is. Alright, so when you test anything on Steam and anything on PC specifically, what you're going to be looking at is the number one thing which you need to actually use for PC gaming in particular. So it is 2022, yeah, whatever. So in this time, the whole cybercrime, cyber theft, cyber identity, anything with ping delays or internet processing or internet IP addressing is going to be a particular protocol on the hacks. So we have to look at a lot of backdoors when you have to take that into consideration. I'm recording this on an iPhone, so yeah, big win. Alright, so you should have a decent camera, plus minus. Alright, so let's look into here, and I'm gonna log on to a VPN into the United Kingdom, but let's go and see what we've got over here. So if you look, my basic 1 gigabit connection is giving me 525 megabytes on download and 176 on upload. So alright, so there's pros and cons when you have to know about something like this. Anybody who's got very fast internet has to put up with the lag switchers and idiots on the internet, or anybody online gaming that actually has a low ping network, and this affects the hardest hardcore latency gaming in the world. So whether you're playing Call of Duty or you're playing a fast-paced fighting game like MK11 or particularly Guilty Gear Strive or Killer Instinct, multiverses is I know it's not rollback netcode, but rollback netcode has loopholes, so anything can be hacked. So let's take that into consideration when it comes to DNF Joule and stuff like that. When they say the rollback netcode, big news, they can hack it, yeah. So don't believe anything is real out there. So there's various different hacks. There's well, everybody does know about lag switching, right? And everybody does know about ping delays. So when you got a ping delay sniffer and so forth, they use Wireshark to either can I say slow down your gameplay so they can get a faster ping input, and then hit you with X, Y, and Z input delays or combos or a bullet to the head or so forth. So yeah, there is pros and cons when we have to look at those scenarios. So online gaming, is it fair? Yeah, I'll let you decide that. In my opinion, the only thing that's fair is actually going to a tournament and facing somebody face to face. Online gaming, yeah, the hacks look so real, and we know so much about them right now that anything on the dark web or darknet or anything on onion cipher filters or cipher rings can basically make anything look real on the internet. So yeah, just be very aware of online gaming, if it's fair, if it's not. Anybody says they're the best in online gaming, like what we know, 90% of Twitch uses hacks. So yeah, that's something to take into brief reality. My little monster is barking outside, but anyway, besides for those factors, let's get into what we can see as the actual gaming test. So what we've actually used is the Dell G5. So I'm gonna go and just show you this into the case scenario. So as you do know, you can see the actual Dell machine, and you can see I've got 32 gigs of RAM, an i7 processor, and then it's basically like a mini desktop machine. So it's fairly decent. I wouldn't say it's anything that's good. It is part of my work group, so I'm not going to show you my IP address or anything like that, as you well know what you can do from it from a hack. So let's start testing, shall we? Okay, so the first game I want to actually start testing, and I've connected this on Steam, and basically what you can do from Steam is connect your PS4 or PS5 controller onto there. And how we did this from the PS4 or PS5 controller is you just go into your settings and you just control from here and just enable the controller, and it'll say either a PS4 controller, PS5 controller. I actually like a PS4 controller because it's much more flexible. The PS5 on IPv6, you guys have a lot to learn about that, how delayed that network is if you're in a different country, in a different region, in a different zone. PS5, yeah, why I would actually use a PC or Xbox right now after looking at in-depth from graphics to actual gameplay. Graphics is one thing when you look at your GPU rendering nodes and rendering pixels on the display screen, right? Yeah, fine, fair enough. But if you're actually looking at fair play, Microsoft actual net switch like an RJ45 cable, which we've got right here. If I need to show that RJ45, here's the RJ45 right there, connected onto it, and actually give you a better specific gameplay. So that's something to take very, very well notice into consideration. So besides that, as you well know, I've beaten a lot of pro players online and stuff like that, but that's besides the factor. As I said, online gameplay, is it fair, is it not? Even if we know it, skill versus hacks, very, very big thing to take into consideration. So I'm going to minimize the big picture and stuff like that. So it's supposed to say minimize big picture or exit big picture, which I'm going to do right now. Okay, so I'm going to see my display menu here on Steam. So basically the first test I'm going to do is MK11. It's a fairly old game from 2019. I've been using the game for a long time, but it's an old game, and there's a lot of new games to actually test around. MK11, one of the best games that you can actually play in competitive specifications. So if you really like playing games specifically for competitive play, I would say MK11 is probably one of the best. People disagree and say MKX. Alright, MKX is fun. I love MKX. You can play brainless with MKX because of the amount of counters and the amount of hacks that are on MKX, if y'all didn't understand MKX. And that's why I removed it from my actual store, because I know about things that y'all guys wouldn't know about MKX, and that's something that y'all need to start learning about. Start paying attention to this and start learning about. There's infinite loops, there's IP ping delays on this thing, like I said, that you can do. There's attacks that you can actually mirror frames or even steal frames away from your opponents if you know what you're doing, even on a PlayStation and Xbox from MKX. And yeah, there's a lot of things, but I love playing MKX. The only difference is I know too much about it not to play it. Alright, so MK11, let's do the specific test on you for now. So what I'm going to be doing is actually running and showing you all the best setting protocols for this. So let's go onto it, and I'm just going to play it without DirectX. Oh no, I'm not using DirectX on 1060. And 1060 is not an RTX. So in RTX with ray tracing, I'd specifically use that for MATLAB or something more advanced like Unity or so forth. So let's see if that goes into the scenario. But specifically those type of GPU games, would I actually use it for an RTX? Nah, I'd use an Xbox, and I'd use a PlayStation or something like that. Why would I want to use that on a laptop for an RTX? I mean, that burns out your processor heads, that delays your battery. If you got like $3,000-$4,000 to spend on that, yeah, great. Alright, let's go into it. So as you see, the blue onto the screen is the actual PS4 controller. So let's go into this and we're gonna test it out right now. So as you see, on 500 megabit download or 200 meg upload, it's on VPN, it's fairly, I'd say it's slow. Slow. They really need to increase their netcode on this. So let's see. So one part of the test to see if MK11 is actually working, and I've set everything to low on the lowest standard that you can see, so that it will work as fast as we want for the best resolution and the best display. So what I've looked at and how I analyze this is I specifically test specific characters which I know about, which can actually test if the actual game is working or not. So I'm going to test this, and looking at this, it's very simplistic. I'm going to use the Garage Lab because it's very simplistic how we can see if this game will actually work with the right amount of frames and ping. Now I noticed this on PlayStation and Xbox. Sometimes it doesn't give you that FPS, and the way I'll know that FPS is I do this counter. So if I do this combo specifically, those are the things that I need to test. And if I do this correctly, I'll know that it's got the right network, and the right counters, and the right combo sequence to this. So I'll know if it's actually working. Yeah, big win. Alright, so as soon as I did that, this setup here, I'll know if it's got the right FPS on delay or the right FPS to actually work, and that's a big win for me. So yeah, that's how I know for certain, using a controller. So the controller is what I use for the actual test. So now you've seen the actual test of MK11, but have you really seen it? Now that's the real question now. So what we are actually going to do is a network test. So I'm going to go on Towers of Time, and this is the #1 place. I actually find this harder than Kombat League, believe it or not, and I've beaten, like I said, a lot of people. You can try and be the best in the world and stuff like that, but yeah, somebody will beat you somewhere. So I'm going to go on to the test and actually test it out right now. So I'm gonna go on the Scorpion Tower today. So it's very simplistic. Let's see if we get anybody that actually will attend these type of things. So I've not known anybody not to, but it does take a little bit of time. So I might forward this part out of the actual video just to test ping delay and so forth. So remember, you are playing online, and what I am stating, online you have to play with the people online. So are they good? Majority of them are not. Are they trolling? You'll have to see and define that for yourself, and basically you'll have to look and define things for what they are. When people actually play online, what is their intent? Whether you're a 10-year-old kid or 18-year-old or anybody in their 20s and so forth, everybody wants to win. Remember, nobody likes losing, especially in fighting games of all things. So would they cheat? And that's the real question you have to start thinking about. Do people cheat in fighting games? Like I said, what did I say about Twitch? A lot of people hop on the Twitch scenario. So let's see Twitch streamers. Yeah, that's something to take into consideration. Alright, so I'm gonna be waiting it out until a little while until I get this. Yeah. Alright, finally got a match so I can actually test it out. And I'm testing it online with somebody that plays with Aaron Black of all people. Oh my god. Aaron Black's a great character, but frames per second, I mean, Sindel, Jade, oh my god, they will annihilate Aaron Black. Aaron Black doesn't stand a chance against people like that, or characters like that. So let's go and let's just live here for a second. So what I'm gonna do is just see if Scorpion can't take, basically can beat me on this. And this is basically the 1, 2, 3 setup which I've got, and there's a win. Alright, there's a win. Using the controller on here, so yeah, I got this before, so yeah, that's great, that's cool, and I'm out of here. Alright, so we've done a test specifically on will it handle, like network play and stuff like that, and that's one of the most important things when we have to look at online gaming: frames per second, network plays, pings, your VPN. More importantly, when we have to look at specific amount of times and stuff. So VPN, like I said, there are obviously people, and what I did right here was, let me show you the pros and cons of this. I went into a match with a specific player. That player can use so many different hacks and techniques, old school methods like Wireshark, Nmap, probably a brute force through Kali Linux, packet sniffing, any one of those specific things to actually get your data and IP address from here. So the awareness of this is, please use a VPN, and especially Mortal Kombat 11. Now, there's one thing which I don't think y'all guys even know about, so this is something that is going to be extremely interesting, that I just need to showcase this. And I notice a lot of hacks have been happening from a lot of different countries, a lot of people, you could say everywhere in the world, but Japan, yes, Russia, yes, Middle East, yes. Let's go into this. I'm gonna just Windows screen and just go into Windows again and see what it is. So if you look over here, even on NordVPN doesn't have Russia, and that's something to actually take into note. NordVPN does not have Russia on here. I mean, I've checked, and wow, I mean, there's a lot of great Russian players. Why are they blocking Russia off? This is 2022. NordVPN, get your act together. We want to play competitively, and we want to play internationally and with good people. And I mean, there's protocols to take into perspective, and the same thing can be said about various service providers on VPN, ExpressVPN, Nord. I mean, let's not get into the other ones and stuff like that, but I think the two best in the world right now probably would be Nord and ExpressVPN. So let's really think about those things into consideration. What VPN or service provider you're using? AT&T, yeah, all right, fine. If they have a VPN service, we'll look into that. So, okay, so I still got the game open. Let's just double check it. So that's how I really test out whether the game can actually handle not one for graphically, but yeah, I've accepted this already. What the? Okay, so let's look at this here. My profile is here. On my PlayStation profile, it's a little bit different as well. So things that we do the test, specifically for any beta test or platform, I'm gonna quit this out. So we've done an MK11 test. All right, that's a win. Now I'm gonna test something out on, how can I say, not Multiverse. Multiverse is a very well developed game, by the way. And I looked at this from Warner Brothers, and specifically when I looked at this game, the graphics, the GPU, how it handles on 1920 by 1080 resolution, it handles brilliantly on this machine, or any machine in general. It's a very well developed game. It's not like Street Fighter 5, and you would, if you do your research, you'll understand what I'm saying on delay inputs and so forth. Majority of the players on games like Street Fighter and so forth have to use not these controllers, by the way. They have to use a custom controller, a configured controller, which when you look at that from a holistic perspective, that is more like a cheat or an unfair advantage. So I'm gonna let you all think about that. If you'll use a standard controller like a PlayStation controller or Xbox controller, yeah, it's great. And then you have Nacon, which has one button hit combos. That's something for you all to start thinking about as well. That's on PC, and that can be rigged for a PlayStation or Xbox if you do know what you're doing. So with that being said, let's continue to the next game, and I'm gonna go on Strive. Strive is one of my favorites because I can add mods and do stuff and like play around with it, and it's a fairly great game by Arc. And the only fail which I don't like about Strive is the amount of time you wait for the loading screen, which you will see right now. This is not fun. Not fun. If you developed this on Unreal Engine 4 or 3, it would have loaded up to it. Rollback netcode? Yeah, okay, fine. That's on DNF. What the heck did y'all use for this? Sheesh, seriously. Just think about that, everybody. If y'all are playing Strive is just as bad as playing Street Fighter Online. And let me tell you about Street Fighter Online. Street Fighter Online is one of the... Its graphic unit interface was based on a low-budget system. We all know that for certain. On its time in 2015, they had very little budget to actually make the game. But specifically, when you have to think about what actually goes across when you develop games, you have to test the input lag and delays internationally as well. So maybe in 2015 they didn't have the tech, but that game is really badly developed, in my opinion. And I do a lot of programming and a lot of development, so yeah, if you ask somebody like me about games, if they're developed correctly, and K11, Tekken, yes. Tekken Online, no. Tekken is meant for treasure battles because its 3D rendering processor is not meant to actually process to individual countries externally. So if you're playing in the same region, maybe you might get delays, but it's just the same like the subliminal hacks that I was talking about. But Tekken is wow. Tekken, yeah, yes. I mean, it's probably some of the best graphics that I've seen, but it's basically meant for a 12-year-old kid. So when I do say that, I mean, if you look at the mechanics of the game where you have 3 matches online and every match you can use Rage, specifically anybody who's working hard to win and actually knows the game, the loser of the game can use Rage and actually win with the actual pro player or the advanced player actually saying, what just happened? Why did this happen? And it's because of the mechanic system that, like a lot of people I know that are not promoting, and listen to my statement, not promoting the game, not paid to promote the game, specifically will have issues with that statement. But you know what, I can prove them wrong in a lot of different ways, and a lot of like computer science majors and people that understand engineering and so forth, they've got a lot of things to say about those things as well. The graphics are amazing though, so I'm gonna go with Mei, one of my favorites. And Mei might be a nerfed out character right now, but compared to some of the other characters which we actually look at, I mean, the most broken character in the game, yeah, that's pretty much the most broken character in the game. And when we look at Testament is very decent, but I would say these two, if you know the frame data of this character, and this, it would be variously impossible to beat. The command grab of this, obviously, I can't even pronounce the name, Pokemon or whatever. It sounds like a Pokemon. Bad name pronounced or badly spelled. It's really bad. Really, wow. Guys. I mean, learn how to well, whatever the name is. Okay, but irrespectively, let's go with, you know what, I'm gonna do this not on the training and demo training. Let's go on the arcade. So on the arcade specifically, you can see how this actually renders through. So that will be a great training exercise for you all to actually see how fast the game actually loads up. So let's go with Chip, and Chip is a fairly decent character. I mean, you can steal frames online from Chip. He's like Cabal. And so I play a lot of different games, so yeah, I would know. To test. I mean, it's all about the hack at the end of the day. It's not really about the gameplay, is it? Right now in 2022. Does skill really matter when you're playing online? And that's the thing you have to worry about. For a streamer, like I said, remember what I've said about Twitch. Oh, I got a perfect. Oh, wow. And this is like, what's the level which I play on? It's called mental or something, or madness, or I don't know. It's the maximum offense, but we'll take that into consideration. What it can be. It slashed. Nice. Yeah. Alright. Ahead of the teen drama. Alright, let's go. I need to combine or concatenate this video together, and I think all this intros are gonna kill it. Sheesh. Alright, here's one of my best characters, Mattel. Love playing with that character. This character is extremely good. So people that don't know how to play with this character, wow. And the reason why I don't like playing with this character online is because there is a lot of specific code breaks for this character that people are not aware of, that you can steal wins with the inputs, and really needs to look into their security. Like I said, we've actually got a lot of Twitch streamers playing with these characters, trying to act fair, but you know, that's the pros and cons of it. Are they playing fair? Oh wow, that's nice. That's really good. All right. Everybody hates that dolphin. Alright, Angimoto, sorry, is one of the best characters in the game. I've looked at this, and probably one of the best characters in the game. Love playing with the style of Angimoto, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Hopefully I am. Need coffee. Need more coffee. Alright, come on, NG. Alright. Okay, so what you actually saw there was an input delay. So sometimes that does happen no matter what GPU you are using, and that's something we have to take note of. So that's another perfect. Okay. Alright, it's a very simple counter strategy which I'm using, and it's air moves, it's wall moves, it's counters, it's basically this sequence which I use a lot. So let's see, it should be hitting right here, right now, and let's grab this guy. Yep. Alright, we've tested out a lot of not DNF Duel, this is Strive. I prefer Strive. Strive is really fun. It's a fun game. It's a really fun game to play. And Arc did an amazing job of it with the mods on PC. You can get the right frames with a GTX 1060. So even with a GTX 1060 in 2022, I mean, we've got RTX GPUs right now that actually, well, throw this out of the water. In other words, it's the GTX 1060 6 gigabytes, which I've got right now, is nothing compared to an RTX 8 gigabytes 3080. Nowhere compared. It's just a little bit of tweaks, and again, your operating system. We have to look at this in the long run. So remember, your operating system as your base level model is something to take into consideration, because when you do things on that level, you will realize a MacBook operating system is optimized basically for applications, not for gaming. But a Windows operating system can be optimized for gaming, just like how they promote their Xbox box products. Fairly decent products. Very good when it comes to that. Quite happy with this, and that's another win. I'm quite happy. Very simplistic gameplay, very simplistic style. Here's my character, Fast. First character I played in Guilty Gear Strive. Still play this Fast from today, but I changed Fast into Michael Myers. That's awesome. I think that's awesome. Fast is one of the best characters, I think, in the game, and people just okay, easy cowboy. All right, so let's see what we've got over here. But Fast is that good? Yeah. Oh no. All right, easy. Sheesh. Oof. Wow. Okay. Yeah, like I said, one of the best characters in the game. If y'all think May is broken, think again. I mean, here's hands-on proof that if you verse characters like this, and with a skilled player, I mean, not like with all the hackers and stuff like that who know one input delays and stealing frames and Nikon controllers and stuff like that to a specific button key logs and so forth. We're talking about the real guys behind the scene. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, achievement unlocking as well. Oh nice. This is something to show. Now I got the afro. Nice. Does May look good with afro? You can tell me. Please don't comment. The Toshigi. The Toshigi. Alright, I'm gonna stop that there. There's another one. Oh. Wow. Is he actually eating the people up? I mean, seriously. Wow. Yeah, I gotta stop this now so I can show y'all Killer Instinct now. That's a game which I like playing. Well, I come from games like Street Fighter 2, Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat 3, a lot of those games that were way back then. Strive is something that you can just pick on, pick up. In other words, let's go back to the menu, and I'm just gonna close this. Let's close this. Okay, I've obtained. That's great. I've got a high score on the PlayStation account. But I prefer the mods, and I prefer everything that's pretty much on Strive and on Steam. Steam is really good. PlayStation really needs to fix the network, and even if you plug in a Cat5e or anything with IPv6, specifically when we look at it from a gameplay online perspective, if you're not in the same country, region, and zone, whether you got a PS4 or PS5 or whatever you've got, you really have to watch that slippage on delays. People will be able to do some incredible hacks, and start thinking about what I'm saying. Is it really about your skill when you play online nowadays? Yeah, so think about that. Alright, so let's go, and we are gonna try Killer Instinct. Skill. Love playing with skill. Online gaming. Alright. Let's take that coffee break. Oh, I've got Killer Instinct running over here for some reason and went into... Didn't go into full screen. Why didn't it go into full screen? Why didn't it go into full screen? Interesting. Alright, so let's go up here and let's change that on the graphics settings. I think we can change that on the graphics settings. So as you see, the graphics compiler is working fairly decent on this, but just want to be 100%. That's odd. Alright, so I'm gonna make that just a bit bigger. Here we go. Alright, so here we go, and that's the win. Alright, we sorted that problem out already, so now we're just gonna test something from the single player online, and it's day 5. Alright, let's go into the actual player versus CPU, and this is one of my favorites. Let's just do a test of Killer Instinct right now. So one of my favorites is Orchard. I like Saberwolf a lot more and Fulgur, but Orchard is a fairly decent character. Beaten, like I said, a lot of pro people online on a lot of different accounts. That's fun. But irrespective of that, it's all in the skill and it's all in the gameplay. So let's go for it. And please remember, no matter how much of skill that you've got, these network delays, these hacks, the cheaters online will find a way to beat y'all. So just be very, very careful of online gaming. If the best thing I can say is, if y'all do notice something that is tricky, just disconnect the network. You are playing online, so let's be cognizant of that. Oh, come on, Fulgur, give me a win. Orchard is such a fairly decent character. Come on. I haven't played this game like in 3 days. But anyway, come on. Give me a win. Give me a win. Drop the bomb. Give me a win, Fulgur. Give me an ultra. Give me an ultra. Character on block and defense, oh my god, it is such a phenomenal blocker. And when you verse me, you have to block, obviously. But this is a game which I look at the right frames, at the right data. I mean, I wish they made games like this over and over again. I mean, it's Killer Instinct, for goodness sake. Killer Instinct, wow. Here's one of the original games. I know Ed Boon and them would. Ed Boon, Tobias, I think it's Ed Boon and Tobias actually made Mortal Kombat out of watching a movie called Bloodsport, if I can remember. Memory serves me right. That's a fairly decent match. I mean, if you see the Killer Instinct frames right here, it's exceeding on a Dell machine. Now let me show you the Dell machine. So if you don't believe me, that is a Dell machine, a GTX graphics card on here. So I'm recording this on an iPhone. If you want to see my setup, basically there is your I've got a bit of a room up here. It's like about What can I say? It's like about a 15-meter room. So if I go way back, you can see a lot of the other machines that I use and a lot of the other setups and stuff like that, which I've got on display. So there's a lot of stuff which you can see that I just use in the gaming room. And the gaming room is pretty big. I mean, I got the PlayStation down there, but should I use the massive TV, which I got running? It's a 75-inch TV, 4K. Yeah, maybe if I want to plug in a laptop and stuff like that later. But those TVs and everything, I mean, would it give you the correct amount of frames that you need to play online? Doesn't matter about the size of the TV. I mean, you can play with a Lessie crossover on the M2. I really want to do a test on that later on, just to see if Killer Instinct or Strive or MK11 or Tekken can actually, or Tekken is the test that I want to do on the M2. That's going to be really interesting. Really interesting to see if you can actually run Tekken, not from a GPU perspective, but from an internet and connection perspective, whether it will actually handle on online gameplay. That's going to be an interesting factor to actually look at. Alright, so for this beta test, beta test on this, done, and I'm quite happy with this. Let's exit this. Yes, I want to exit. Yes, I want to exit. Exit. Sheesh. Instinct, leave me alone. Played you for a little bit. So, multiverses, yeah, we'll get into that later. Absolutely brilliant game. Fun. Not IPO restricted or IP restricted to one console application. I think that's unfair. Nintendo, I mean, it's one of the best games. Smash Brothers Ultimate, it's probably one of the best games in the world, but restricting it to just Nintendo? Really? Alright, so that's the actual beta test on a Dell G5 2018 model. Specifically, this is the model with the GTX 1060 Max Q. So yeah, that's great right now. So you can see this from a holistic perspective. Everything works fine, everything is working good, everything is golden, in other words. So I'm pretty happy with this. But RJ45 connected in. I mean, speed test. Let's do a basic netcode speed test, just a normal speed test and stuff like that, just to see what I was hitting on there, or if anybody did try anything malicious with that one match on MK11 when going to towers. Yeesh, these guys on the towers. Wow, why do they do that to us sometimes? But let's just double check. I mean, I find it more fun than Kombat League. Because I know the actual people that actually use Kombat League, and I know what hacks they use. Like I said, Twitch, do some research on Twitch. So let's see the latency and let's see the delay. So let's go into it. This is taking a little bit. 161 delay. That's not good. And this is the 1 gigabit line. So at least on VPN we can see it's at least hitting 400 or 500. Yeah, at least give me 100, please, on VPN. Please give me 100 on VPN. Pretty please. Alright, there's a reason why I did this. Alright, so listen up. The specific reason why we would actually say on any game in the FCG, restricted of what netcode they use or what rollback they use or whatever ping delay system that they use or whatever multi-thread network, pure networking they use as well to actually do game syncs. Basically, the max amount you would use on download and upload is minimum 40 megs or 30 megs on either side, a download and upload. So if you've got that speed, and this is overkill in a realistic dramatic type of way, which I test a lot of different applications and I do a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna leave that very subliminal that I do a lot of stuff. But when you look at this from a realistic perspective, the maximum upload that you'll need in your country or whichever country that you are in is 30 megabytes plus minus for now in 2022. So whether you do immense amount of speed tests or so forth, basically you're gonna be like looking at this from a very holistic level where 30-40 megs is all you'll need. So if you use an iPhone or use a Samsung or use a Dell or use any MacBook or any one of the high-end machines, even a Razer laptop and so forth, even a PlayStation, 30-40 megs, Xbox, 30-40 megs is all you need for fighting games. Call of Duty, believe it or not, you basically need about 15 to 20 megs. It's not that heavily frame intensive as fighting games. So remember, fighting games actually take more of your GPU and more of your network than majority of the games in the world. So with that being stated, you have to look about the technologies that they use, the networks that they use, the ISPs that you use, and things that we have to take into consideration when playing fighting games online. Probably the hardest rigs, the hardest setups. Fortnite is a walk in the park comparison to a rig on Tekken and MK11 and Killer Instinct and Guilty Gear Strive. I kid you not. Fortnite, you can play it on your damn iPad or iPhone. It's not rocket science. Fortnite is not supposed to be rocket science. It's built very, very well. But fighting games, they're a different genre. That's why to get a machine that can actually play fighting games is very, very difficult. And as you see right now from the beta test, it's running on a 2018 Dell G5. And that's a win. We're winning. All right. Thanks, everyone. And later.